Hey friends, it's Teresa Crane with Jeremiah Dreams. How are you guys tonight? I am doing very well. I got home from work and got some supper going and just rested for a little while. But it's been a good day. I'm just so thankful. And the week is going well. And I am just ready to paint with you guys. So as you join, please grant StreamYard permission. Well, hello, Rena. How are you, my friend? I keep hearing this feedback. Hey, Teresa, how are you doing? You guys, how was your day? What did y'all do today? I hope you had a good day. I had a good day. I'm just tired, and I think part of it's the weather. I had another little headache when I got home, and I just know it's the weather because we had some rain today, and I always feel it in my sinuses right there. So I just usually take a decongestant and some Tylenol, and I'm good to go. But I had some good supper. I made some homemade beef stew, and it was so good. Oh my goodness, that's just comfort food whenever you got a little headache going on. Work day for Rena. Thank you, Miss Teresa, for painting blessings. Yes, and as you join, please tell your friends, and you do that by painting blessings. I'm doing much better now that I got rid of my little headache from the rain today. It just, oh, you know how it is. But I am so ready to get going, y'all. Um, Let me just remind y'all where we left off in case you've forgotten. Oh well, I need to share my screen, don't I? Hang on, hold on. Let me get it up here. There we go. So the other night, I worked on the little sign that says the Dogwood Chapel, and we put some tulips in there right beside it. But listen, after I finished with you all, I had to keep working on it because I wanted to continue this path. And tonight I'm going to lay in some more of these stones because it just felt unfinished. I guess it's a really good way to say it. Hey, Miss Kathy. Thank you for painting blessings. Thank you from Wingo, Kentucky. Oh, just up the road. So tonight I want to paint in some more stones, and if we have time, um, I want to add my little surprise that I've been thinking and thinking and thinking about for these hills. So I can't wait to show you. But let's get these stones done and taken care of, okay? So I'm going to get my little palette over here. I'm going to put some gray on there, and we're just going to get going and get these babies put in. So you guys, this morning before I went to work, I want to share this with you. This morning before I went to work, I worked on all the tech stuff for adding the Paint and Create community, which is the version of the Paint and Create group that you have access to the private Facebook group, and the tutorials and the supply list and the patterns are all emailed to you for downloading. And I'm having some trouble with getting a few of the little things done. So I worked on as long as I could this morning, then I had to go to work. And with my headache after work, I thought, I can't do that right now. So hopefully tomorrow that will be ready. And this will be something that will be open all the time. It will not be an open and closed kind of membership. It will be something you can join at any time and cancel anytime as well. So I just wanted to add that tidbit there to be watching for that. All right, so I'm going to get my brush wet, and I'm just going to get a little of this gray going. And I'm going to lay in these other stones, and they go pretty fast. I got to get a better point going, though. Sometimes the bristles want to spread. And y'all, I have got such feedback in my phone. I can hear myself, and it just drives me crazy. But I don't know what else to do. I've done all the things I know to do. So it is what it is, and you just keep on marching through, right? So this morning I finished my part of Kingdom Woman, where I was reading on my own. And this morning I started a new book called Woven, and it's written by I cannot think of her first name. I want to say it's Kim, but that's not right either. Um, shoot. She is married to the lead singer of the Christian group Selah. She's married to Todd Smith. Hey, Miss Judy. Oh, I thought I'd been missing you. I am so glad you're here. I kind of go through a mental checklist. Well, this one wasn't there and that wasn't there. Y'all are missed. I just want you to know. Especially if you're my regular viewers, I miss you guys. So, but I try to respect your privacy also. But anyway, I started reading her book. Actually, a friend of mine asked me if I would read along with her, and she bought both of it. She gifted me a copy that was so sweet. And but it's a book that talks about how the Bible is really woven together into one story. And I'll have to let you know how that one goes. I just finished chapter 1 this morning, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how she does weave it all together. But I love books that are very introspective like that and make you really think. Just like Kingdom Woman did that for me, and I had to share it with y'all. Because some things are just too good not to share. All right, so I have the base formations of this stone, and now I'm going to go back and add in some highlights and make them come to life. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add, let's see, actually, I think I'm going to add this pale gray instead of mixing white in. I think that's what I did before, was I just added pale gray. I've got some acrylic dried up right there. I'm going to have to add this to my shopping list. So we're going to add some highlights. And just so you can kind of see, whoops, I'm getting the camera. Where is that camera? Y'all, it's so hard to figure out when it's upside down for me. The new book is called Woven. And I cannot think of her first name, but her last name is Smith. That much I do know. So there's the pale gray and the regular gray. Okay. So I'm just going to highlight these stones much like the others. Then we're going to go back and add some depth to them. Make sure y'all can see okay. And basically just going along the top side of these rocks for the highlight. Just thinking about where would light bounce on them. It was interesting as this book started, she shared how she used to view the Bible as just the thin, crinkly pages and couldn't quite. This was before she really fell in love with Christ and His Word, and that it just was very thin pages that crinkled. Judy says, "Oh, thank you. Sounds like it would be a good and interesting read." And she's got another one. And, oh, what was it called? This is her second book. I'm basing this off of what my friend told me, and I've drawn a blank on what her first book is called. Well, if you Google that book and her, I'm sure it will pull up the first book. And it says that she's written children's books too. I'm looking for my dark gray, and I don't see it. I may just mix some black with this and get my darker tone. Okay. bring this over here so I'll show y'all what I'm doing. Get some water on my brush. So I'm going to thin this down, thin down my black. Make sure I'm in the camera good. And I'm going to come over here and just add what's on my brush to this gray and get that darker gray that I'm looking for. I'll twirl off the excess and get a good point. Now I'm going to go right along the bottom edge and add that depth. So are you guys reading any good books? Do y'all like to read? I used to read all the time. I don't read as much as I used to, but I used to love to go to bed at night. This is back when I was married, and we would both read. We'd go to bed early just so that we could just unwind and read. But I just don't do that like I used to. I used to read mysteries and Mary Higgins Clark. I always really liked her. Angie, thank you, Teresa. Angie Smith. Girl, I just drew a blank. I remember in her introduction, she talked a little bit about her education and her college degree and all that good stuff. Okay, I want to go back and I want to just add a little bit of a little bit of black to the bottom of these rocks for that really deep depth, like right against the ground effect. And I'm just kind of doing this very quickly. It just felt like that path was just too abrupt where it ended, so. Almost there. Then I'm going to go back and add some speckles to them because you know how rocks have the dimples in them a lot of times. I'm going to use the black for that. Thin it down some more. Twirl off the excess and get a good point. Oops, got too much. That would have not been good. Just randomly adding little dimples to these rocks. It just helps them not be so flat looking. Why can't I get a good enough point here? Thin it down a little bit more. The bristles are not wanting to cooperate. It also helps tone down a little bit of the highlight so that doesn't look so striped. It just helps. Okay. Let me hold this up for you to see. That's what we got going on here.
They're just
They're
kind
just
of
kind of
random
random through there,
and
and they lead right up
to
to
the
the
door
door
of
of
the
the
chapel.
chapel. There we go. Oh, yes, Teresa. Francine Rivers is amazing. I've read several of her books. Oh, Kathy says she's got about 5 books going on. And Judy says she used to read a long time ago, but you haven't in a long time. Teresa loves to read, not as much as she should. Judy used to read Danielle Steele, Debbie McComber, and Cheryl Wood. Oh, thank you, Teresa and Judy both. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. And y'all, I want to get started on this other thing I have in mind. So I'm just going to start on it, and I know you'll be able to pick up on what's going on. I'm going to use my pale gray. And I'm envisioning this being right up here. Any guesses? Too soon? Sheep. That's right, Rena. And they're just indications, y'all. Let's see if I can get this close enough where you can see. It's not going to be anything major, but I just, in my mind, could not shake the idea of a few sheep being up in the hills. Hey, Winifred, how are you? Yeah, I put it on the opposite side tonight. I tried trying something new just to mix things up. And y'all, I'm just doing this as dots just so that it will kind of look like they're fluffy. And they're in the distance, so we don't have to worry about a ton of detail. You know, sometimes I wonder if certain colors like to dry faster because this black is just really, I keep having to add moisture to it. You first thought across? Yeah, Teresa guessed across. There won't be a ton of them, but I just thought it would be interesting. I think about how the sheep are referenced so many times in scripture, and I guess that's why I couldn't shake it. Yeah, just a little bit more to this little guy. wonder if I can add a little bitty tiny one, like a little lamb. Oh, really? Rena says we have sheep next to our church. Oh, I need to start just playing your comments because that's just too cool, especially whenever it translates over to YouTube. Teresa says it's a beautiful thing that we are called lost sheep and Christ is our shepherd. Amen. Rena says we have sheep next to our church. Winifred said, spread the pain. Oh, thank you, Winifred. Just felt right. I just think about that scripture that says we like sheep have gone astray. I think about that. You hear Mr. Baxter, he's feeling his Cheerios. And I'm going to add a little bit of shadow underneath them so that that helps. And they don't look like they're just stuck on the hill somewhere. Let's see here what Judy's. Oh, hi, Tracy. Hello. Judy says, when people ask where our church is located in our small town, everyone always says it's the church with the 3 crosses out front. That's very cool. Very cool. So, yes, it just felt like we needed some sheep up here. I think I had too much water on my brush. Look at how that's. I need to pick that up and try that again. And that'll be okay because that'll add shadow underneath that little sheep. We can fix that pretty easy. Just add his little face. I've never painted a sheep before, y'all. And that's why these guys are in the distance just dotted in. Someday I will try. But it just felt right with them being up in the hills. Here we go. And see, I feel like they're positioned different ways because in my mind, the hill has different aspects going on with it. So that's why I've kind of got them going like that. But I will emphasize those parts of it too. I have no idea what that little booger is barking at. He's probably, oh, I know what he did. He went downstairs to my bedroom. Y'all, I've told you about his phobias. And he thinks he can't get back up the steps. He's wanting me to come get him. And I can't. I didn't give him permission to go downstairs so he can get himself out of that dilemma. Oh my. I had him groomed yesterday. He looks so cute. So we're adding sheep. Y'all want to see how they're looking so far? See if I can get this in the right position. So they're just kind of scattered on the hillside. Okay. It's just a subtle little detail, nothing major. So I will be back on here tomorrow early. 7:30 in the morning. Kathy, I do not expect you to come. We have that agreement. But it will be a part of the Craft Around the Clock channel here on Facebook. And so you guys hang out with me for about 30 minutes in the morning. And then continue watching because you guys, there are some very, very talented ladies on that channel. And they are showing their stuff all day long. They're showing their techniques, their talent. It's just amazing. Going back and adding a little bit more. Darla, how are you, my friend? Winifred says, they look quite content grazing in the fields. That was my goal. Thank you. And Darla Arnold is spreading the blessing from Mississippi. You know, Darla, I didn't think I had recognized your name, so welcome. Welcome to my page. I am so glad you're here. If you're just now popping on, you got to see I'm adding little sheep to this hillside. Get this where you can see. And they're just out there grazing. It just seemed like a little detail. Winifred, it will be at 7:30 Central Time in the morning. $7:30, that's right. Y'all, one thing I've always felt a little conflicted about with paintings is how to handle grassy areas. And so I've always, oh, thank you, Darla. Thank you, ma'am. I've always felt a little conflicted of just how much detail are you supposed to put. So I'm going to do a little bit of research before I actually call this piece done, but it's very close to done. And I'm not really feeling like anything additional needs to go into the sky, except maybe I might put indication numbers. I've still got to put the light. I might try to do that tonight. I have some ideas. I want to put a light on the front of this little chapel. Now let me go ahead before I get too far along and add some shadow underneath these guys so that they look like they're there with a purpose and they're not just chilling, you know, flat against the canvas. So I've just taken my, this is foliage green. Put it right there. That's a lot of the tone that's in here already. And I'm just going to get a little black and I'll show you. I'm going to mix it in there. And get a good shadow color. And I'm just going to place a little bit of that underneath them. Y'all, that is exactly what Baxter has done. He's gotten down the steps and he doesn't think he can get back up. He will eventually. He'll get tired of barking and he'll come on up the steps. But if he can get my attention and get me to come get him, it's easier for him. They're so smart. So smart. hear him trying. He'll make it. I think the reason he has that phobia is because he has tried before and like he slides on the wood floors and he might have crashed one time. He has a hard time getting a grip. Did you make it, baby? Where's him? Where's him? Come here. Let everybody see your haircuts. Come here, bud. Oh, isn't he pretty? He got his hairs did. My boy. Yeah. Did you make it? Yes, I know. Yeah, I know. Goodness. There you go. Rotten to the core. Oh, well, Renifred, you just catch the replay, girl. It'll be all right. Just tell me you caught the replay. Do a hashtag replay. I think I have a Baxter. Something. That's probably me, actually. Okay, so back to this sweet painting. I feel like this one sheep where I had too much water in my black and it kind of went crazy on me. I'm going to touch this up just a little bit. I just feel like it's too muddied looking, and I'm going to just kind of fix that. And I'm just going to blend in some of this leaf green right through there. Probably needs a little bit of accentuating anyway. I probably need to work on his little feet some more so that they have distinction. Probably need to on each of these little guys because their little black feet can get lost in all the shadow stuff. Okay. So let me show you. And I'll probably continue doing some more work on them. They're just very simplistic. There's not a lot of detail because they are in the distance. So what I feel like I need to do is probably add a little more detail to this hill where they're grazing. So I'm going to kind of work on that a little bit. May even put a few little rocks in there, especially where some of them look like they're standing on a rock or have part of their feet on a rock or something. And I'm not using strokes. I'm really just dotting in and patting in some of these contours and details. So it just gives some believability and reality to this little scene. And I want to carry that thought out here, even though I may not have sheep here. I don't want it to look like it's just where they are. In fact, I think what I'd like to do, I'm just going to go back and add in some rocks. And I want those to carry on up the hill. This reminds me, I don't know why this particular thing makes me think about it, but one year we took a vacation to Colorado Springs and we went up Pikes Peak. And when you get on up into the higher elevations, Not that I want this to be high elevation. Um, it's a lot of rock. And the vegetation, I will never forget this. So we took like this tram, cog railway tram up Pikes Peak, and the tour guide was sharing that as you go up in elevation, the vegetation grows at a much slower rate, and it grows so slow that you can still see the tracks from the covered wagons that forged through that area. And I just thought that was so interesting. It was something else. And the air's very thin up there, so you couldn't stay very long. It was just a very, very cool thing. Okay, I want to go back now. I'm going to mix some of this pale gray with some of this normal gray, mid gray, and just get a little darker color going. A little bit of water. Thin it down so it'll flow better. I'm twirling off the excess and getting a good point. And I'm going to add this color to some of these rocks. Just dotting in. You know, rocks have several colors and variations in them. So that's what I'm trying to build upon. And then I think that there's also like just little hints of gravel. Okay, I want now to pick up some black and very, very sparingly add some of that depth. Just dotting it in. Keeping in mind the formation of the rocks, the shapes of them, trying to add different crooks and crannies in them. And just adding just a little bit in between to help enhance whatever little gravelly kind of area there might be in my imagination. Okay, let y'all see up close. Looks like it kind of froze. This way. There we go. So that's kind of how that looks. All right. I know. I noticed that. It keeps freezing. And I don't know why. Hi, Julie. Thank you so much, girl. Thank you. I don't know why it's freezing because it's kind of freezing on me too. And I don't know. I wish I did. There is no telling. No telling. Okay. Let me see if I can do this little light thing I have in mind. So let me get this pulled over where that you can kind of see what's happening here. And I'm just going to kind of, in my mind, it's kind of a oval shape with a dome. And what I've seen in my mind's eye, hold on, I'm going to sneeze. Maybe. Ugh. I hate when that happens. Kind of seen in my mind this kind of curving arm. And then it'll have like this base. So I will be enhancing these elements. So let me pick up some pale gray also. I might need to make this little arm a little wider. Okay, I'm basing that in, so I'm going to go back and add some highlights in dark places. Let me dry this. That's probably what I need to do so that it will not give me a problem. Okay. Whoa, babies. I crashed my paint bottles everywhere. It's all good. I'm telling y'all, working with a bigger canvas can be a little bit of a challenge, especially in kind of tight quarters. Let me thin down this pale gray a little bit too. That might help with the flow of it. There we go. That's what I needed to do. I'm going to highlight this
upper
upper circle. And I want to put, I think I'll just do white. I want to put a little bit of a light bulb hanging out, but it's daytime, so it's not going to be turned on. Thinning this down a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to actually add some black inside of here. Yes, whenever my lids were on, Judy says, we'll try to see you in the morning. Oh, you too, Miss Judy. Happens with all the crafters. It happens, yes. Hi, Margaret. Oh, I am so glad you're here all the way from Mississippi. Welcome to my page, girl. I hope you will hang out with us often. We have a great time here. So I am just adding this light that I feel like needs to be a part of this chapel. And I've got a little something on the end of my brush. I want to be sure. You know, that might be an indication that it's time to get a new brush when it starts acting this way. Probably need to look at that when I go to the store. I think I'm going to have to make a Hobby Lobby trip. I'm feeling it. I don't know what I'd do without my really fine tipped brush. That lets me get in all the really tight places. Just very tenderly, gently adding the inside of that light right there. Got a little too much on the end. And I want to accentuate the bottom of this neck and where it attaches. There. What do y'all think? I like it. It's just a simple little light. It reminds me of the old timey churches. So I need to add some more sheep on this hillside. I feel like it needs a few more. I don't want to go crazy, but I probably, honestly, because I've been using pale gray on them, I probably need to put a little bit of true white on them too. I'm just going to dot some of that on. That will probably be a nice enhancement. Just gives them a little more dimension, even though they're in the distance. And I'm just dotting it in very gently. That makes them kind of pop a little bit too. But I do feel like I need a few more. See, they just look brighter now. I wonder if I can help you see the difference. I may have to just take some pictures and do some close-ups of some of these areas, because I have a feeling it's going to be, it's just going to lose something through this translation. So I'll be sure and do that. But I do think we need a few more. And let me just go through and add their bodies, and then I can go back and add all their faces. Kind of get them positioned where I feel like they are. Probably need another little guy. Little lamb right through here. Okay, let me go back and add their faces. And then we'll go back and add some little highlights to them. We'll kind of shape them up a little bit too when I go just to add the highlights. Did I get everybody? I think so. Okay. This one right here really seemed like it needed some shaking up. Probably needs a little bit more black to his face. Okay, I'm going to let that sit, see how I feel, and go from there. Hey, Pam. Oh, thank you, girl. Thank you so much. All right. So, if you guys like this, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn around so you can see the whole thing. It may not do really well. Let me remove the. Go over here. Let's see how that does. So, hopefully, you can kind of see everything going on. Y'all, I don't really have peace that it's done, but I don't know what to do right now. So when that happens, that's where I have to step away from it for a little bit and then look at it again and say, oh, yeah, that's what that means. So, you guys, we're right at 57 minutes. So I am going to call this done for tonight, and then I'm going to get ready for 7:30 in the morning Central Time. I have some ideas. So, you guys, thank you for joining me. I am so glad to have all of those who are new. Thank you so much. Y'all, I appreciate you more than you will ever know. And I just love that you hang out with me and we just talk and visit. And it's just the most wonderful thing ever. So, listen, thank you for joining me. Thank you for visiting with me. Please come again. We have a wonderful time on this page. I love each and every one of you sincerely. Y'all have a wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye.